And thank you so much for Pastor Early for opening up his door. And I'm just so appreciative of him. He's one of my closest friends and my brother. And him and I, we talk often. I just call him and it'll be midnight, man. I just call him, Pastor, I just need some words, man, words of encouragement. And as before I begin, I wanted to recite a poem that I created that is really a depiction of kind of what is going on right now in Cleveland. And it goes like this. Ain't you from St. Clair? I heard there ain't no saints there. Well, I'm from 79th to be exact. Where most young boys, they carry straps. In most houses, they call them traps. Where even the cats look stressed out. Everybody rap, they want to be the best out. We all love the hood, but still hoping to be the next out. But it's tic-tac-toe. I just don't want to be X'd out. So we don't care about your DM, because Rough Riders roll on you in the AM or the PM. But we don't feel protected from police when we see them, so they become our sworn enemies. I wouldn't want to be them. GM, that's if you get to see the morning. Most young boys die, don't even get to see the warning. It's daily tsunamis, but still my brain storming around a bunch of wannabes swarming. Mine never dormant. Even with no crowd, they stay performing. I'm from down the block where Jesse ran, where Langston wrote, where you and I met, where Malcolm spoke. Where those riots, they made Huff choke. Dr. King helped us with Carl Stokes. I'm from Cleveland. The place where Superman was born, around the corner where Ruby Dee would perform. Yeah, I'm from St. Clair. It ain't no saints there, but for sure, God's people reside. Because Glenville, it been real. There's God's people like Israel or Ghana, complexion of Botswana. Some of us drown in poverty, so we become piranhas. In Collinwood, they're looking for peace, like Dalai Lama. But down the way, give me that peace, give me that llama. Blam, blam to anyone who disrespect the fam. They was ready to jam for that bread. On Kinsman, they come for your head just like a barber. On Superior, they got more choppers than your barber. A life for a life. Those young boys, they like to barter. But they killing babies and old ladies. Boys got to get smarter. And on Harvard, they just making it harder. For the young father who's just trying to go farther. And those boys from the heights, I wish they could see at greater heights. Turning suburbs into hoods. These boys got poor sights. Shooting guns like it's a county fair. And you know a county fair gets you a teddy bear. But out here, this ain't no county fair. It ain't fair. You shoot guns, the other side is wrapping poles with teddy bears. Y'all don't hear me. This is Cleveland. And on West 25th, the young Boricua will take you out quick. Take you out quick. The stuff is sick. With the wrong click, you hear that clack click. You better stack quick, because MS-13 and those felons, they don't play around those parts. Well, you better have heart and a strap to pull. No bull, but much beef in these streets. Yo, it's deep, like the grave that you get laid in if these streets you played in. Shock like Raiden, make you wish that you stayed in. But this is the place that I was raised in, that I was made in. I hope I make y'all proud with my days in. And I'm not talking hotels, but when my time is fading. This is Cleveland. Pastor Early, man, is someone who I admire, who's a very good friend of mine, and many of you know, if you don't know, I'm Muslim. I'm a third generation Muslim. My grandmother and grandfather came through the Black Panthers and became Muslim, and my mother and father and myself. So when people see me and this brother together, it's always kind of mind-boggling to them. But that's only because they are looking at what they consider to be differences, not understanding that our similarities are much more than what separates us. And those similarities is this, that Jesus was a revolutionary. He was a revolutionary, and he looked like you and I. And the fact is that once we understand that there is a spiritual medicine in our blackness, then at that point we will realize that we are much closer to God than we know. And this is very, very important to understand. This battle that we're dealing with in this world is a battle. It is a spiritual battle, first and foremost, before it's a physical battle. It's a spiritual battle that we're dealing with, and whether you are a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, you're a Yoruba, African traditional religion, or you just trying to find your way, the fact is understanding that energy that we need to be successful comes from a higher power. There's a greater power that exists no matter what name that you call that higher power, it exists. And you have to tap into it. Much like your phone has to tap into the plug to get energy, or we always keep our chargers with us, because if we don't, it's a bad day. When your phone go dead, you think everybody trying to reach you. That's just like us. We got to stay tapped into a spiritual energy, so that we can receive the messages that God has for us, or that Allah has for us, or that the King of Kings has for us, or whatever names. Don't even focus on what makes us different. Recognize that there is something greater than you, something greater than us. So when we see this situation with Eliana DeFries being snatched up, and we see her found inside of an abandoned home, decapitated, eyes out of her, we recognize that this is a devilish thing. This ain't something that human beings do. This is a satanic energy that is flowing through our community. Right. Satanic. It's satanic, man. Sometimes you see stuff, you say, man, that's not what human beings do. You're right, because that's not a human being. It may look like a human being, but the Spirit of God is not in that individual. I'm telling you, some of our young people, they don't even have the Spirit of God. It's like you look at them and you talk to them, it's like they not even there. I'm telling you, and I'm telling you right now, the music that we are listening to, some of the things that we are engaging in, they're like spells that are being put on us, man. And not until they get into jail or they get into a situation where they can sit down, they say, oh, wow, they snap out of it. Some of the drugs that they are taking, it's like a spell, man. And they are doing things, and they don't even remember that they did it. So this is a spiritual battle. This is a spiritual battle, and it's important for you to see a Muslim and a Christian stand. Not even if you're a Muslim or not if you're a Christian, but to be able to see that it don't matter what our differences are, our similarities is that we are all suffering from what's going on. When you saw Eliana DeFries and you saw that situation, if you were a human being with any Spirit of God in you, you couldn't help but to feel this feeling like you saw your sister, that was your daughter. I was just with her father the day before. And we said, me and my brothers, we about to go we about to go in some of these abandoned homes. They said, well, we already looked in these abandoned homes, so it must, and then next day we found out that's where she was at. So the fact is that this is a spiritual battle, number one. When you go back home, recognize that in order for us to defeat this, it's going to take that higher power. And when you understand that, then at that point, you're not going to get thrown off when you don't see the harvest from the seeds that you plant. Because it ain't about you seeing the harvest, it's about you planting the seeds that God put in you to plant. Okay, so what I mean by that is, it may not be meant for us to see the harvest, but you still got to plant the seed. Because God put it in you to plant the seed. And it ain't your business when the seed grows. It is only your business to do what God inspired you to do. So this is something that I just want you to remember, want us to remember. And I'm not saying anything that you don't know. You know these things already. That's why you're here. We're not moved. We're not moved by the fact that there's not 100 people here. I got 5 minutes, so keep me on 5 minutes. My brother got to go. Right. So we're not moved by the fact that there's not 100 people here. Movements don't start like that. Movements are always a group of small, dedicated people that change the world. So here in Cleveland, man, people are always saying, man, you and Kyle, man, you're always doing stuff. Maybe y'all doing it because it's election season. You must have just opened your eyes to what we've been doing in this city for years. Or what our brother Steve has been doing in this city for years. We are only a fruit of the tree that our elders had planted long before we got here, long before we came here. And this is important for you to understand what your legacy is and what's your position. And you must outwork. Every one of us make a commitment to outwork the negativity. Every time you hear a negative action happen, go out and do something positive. To bring a balance to the world. You see somebody do something negative, or you hear something, okay, I'm about to do something positive. Right? I'm about to, Lil Wayne talking nonsense, okay, you understand? I'm about to write a song that's on that positive more. I'm gonna write this song right here. You know what I'm saying? I see this young girl, she done disrespected her mother. Next time I see a little young girl acting up, I'm gonna, baby, don't you talk to your mother like that. I'm not gonna sit by idly and watch negativity happen without doing nothing about it. Because the very thing that God put into you to bring life, if you don't use it, it will be the very thing that caused you death. And you will be held responsible for what God inspired you to do and you chose not to do. It is not the actions of our enemies is the silence of our friends. So Dr. King said.
Yes.
It's not the action of our enemies. It's the silence of our friends. It's not that there's so many negative people. It's just that we have too many positive people that are silent. That's the problem. So every time you see somebody say something, you see Basheer. So people are like, why Basheer always talking? You know? But it's like, that's what's in me. And no matter what nobody feel, I'm going to keep talking because I'm not held responsible by the people. I'm held responsible by the one who created all the people. And that's God. And I'm going to keep on doing it until he remove it from me. Kind of going to keep on doing it. Many of you, every time we put on events, it's the same faces. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We're not doing this work because we had a loved one that died. And now we're deciding, dang, my son died, my father died. So now I'm getting engaged because, what I'm saying, because no, we ain't had no son or no brothers who got killed by violence, but yet and still, you are our brother and our sister, even though it may not be blood, but we are connected by spirit. And that's what we have to see when people are being harmed, that these are our brothers and our sisters. And once you feel that connection, then at that point, we have gotten to a place of receiving a spiritual medicine. And that spiritual medicine is you receive more in giving than you do when you receive. You receive more when you give.